Hey guys, this is Chris Guru with Drummer's Guide to Gear, dg2g.com. We're going to be doing a phone interview today with Chris Hornbrook from Poison the Well, Census Fail, Big Black Delta, on and on. You've worked with a lot of different people, so I'd like to thank you for taking the time out and doing this phone interview with us today.
Dude, that's my pleasure. I'm sorry it couldn't happen when we were in Denver.
Yeah, we had
broke down and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, we had a day planned when you were you just finished up the Warped Tour with Census Fail, and we were going to get together when you guys came through Denver, and you guys had some tour bus issues. How fun was that?
It was pretty awful, considering the fact that there was a problem with the bus, but the bus actually could still drive. It was mostly our driver that we had for all the Warped Tour. Excellent driver, really smooth and didn't have lead foot, didn't speed up and slow down, and didn't run on the brakes. But when it came to the actual work part of it, he was awful. And he didn't want to drive the bus because he wanted days off.
Yeah.
And it was, it sucked, yeah. It was a big thing. We were up till like 4 in the morning and trying to figure out what we were going to do and all this sort of stuff. And, it sucked.
Now, you just finished up Warped Tour with Census Fail. You're back home, back in California. What do you got going on for the rest of the little bit of summer that we have left, or what projects you got coming up? What's the future look like for you?
I'm just hanging out for now. I mean, I'll have the next 5 weeks off, and then Census Fail hits Europe for about 3 weeks with Capsize and Counterparts, which should be pretty fun and cool. It's been a few years since I've been over there. Coming home after that, I might have a show with Big Black Delta. Not sure, not 100%. And then Census Fail is planning something for the fall time. That kind of finalizing the details with that for now. But just for the moment, man, I'm just trying to enjoy being at home. And Warped Tour is exhausting.
Yeah.
Because it's funny because for me, what was exhausting about Warped Tour wasn't the playing part, or even necessarily the traveling part. It was all the in-between stuff. You play for 30 minutes, you do press, and then you do signing. And in all reality, it occupies maybe about 2 to 3 hours out of the day, and you're stuck on site. So you wait in lines to eat, or wait in line to use the shower, or wait in line to use the bathroom, or... Yeah. That, to me, was the most, exhausting part of it, because I hate lines. Like, if I go to a restaurant and there's 3 people in front of me, I'm out the door. So you jump in a catering line and there's 50 people in front of you. I'm just an immensely patient person, and that's my own problem. But Warped is great. Stoked to be home. Got some stuff going on. I'm really excited about that. And a few other things kind of in the works that I can't really discuss because they're not really, they haven't really come to fruition yet, but, keep an eye out for that. Some cool shit happening. Cool. Additional to those things, too.
Awesome. Now, playing, like you're saying with Warped Tour, the catering lines, shower lines, things like that, I imagine it's pretty cool to play those type of festival shows, but do you prefer doing, the smaller, when you guys do headlining shows, or you're supporting and it's just, 1 or 2 bands versus... For that, for the main, that type of reason, for the chaos of the big festival show, do you prefer the smaller like that, a headlining tour or supporting tour versus the big festival type of tours?
I mean, there's pros and cons to both. Obviously, you're playing Warped. It's really hot outside, so playing a headliner set would be really, really exhausting.
Yeah.
But then, when you have a headliner, then it's all your production, it's your set list, it's all well within your control, So, pros and cons of both, but if I had to pick one, I would definitely pick the headliner set, just because, it's your thing. It's you pick the set list, and you pick the lighting, and you pick, this is what we're going to do, and this is how our set's going to be, and this is the band or bands that we're going to bring out tours. It's just more within your control, so you can kind of put on the show that you really want to put on.
Yeah. Now versus...
But preferably that.
Now when you're doing... I imagine it's probably... You don't get much downtime no matter what type of tour you're on, but when you do get any type of downtime, what do you like to do when you're on tour?
Depends where I'm at, to be honest. I mean, I've been very fortunate to like travel a lot and see a lot of the world. I've been touring since pretty much I was 17, 18 years old. So I get really excited when we're in like weird countries or weird cities that I've just never been to before.
Yeah.
Usually when we do that, I explore and I see the things I want to see. But you know, if I'm in a place that I've been to a bunch, then I just kind of keep it chill, just stay around where the bus or the hotel's at. My friends, I'll go hang out with them, or if there's like a special, like a local special restaurant that I'm really into, like I'll go check that out. But yeah, mostly I just try to keep it mellow, especially when you have days off. You just kind of use that day to recharge your batteries, and
Yeah.
Especially if you're like way deep into a tour.
Yeah, makes sense. Now, when you're not on tour and you're not busy, doing any recording, I know you do lessons and stuff as well, private lessons, Skype lessons, all that. What are some of your hobbies outside of music?
It's really funny because drumming and music is like such a massive part of me on and off tour. I mean, prior to us doing this interview, I was just at my studio, like cleaning my kit from Warped Tour and cleaning all my, my cymbals and hardware.
Yeah.
Organizing kind of like my drum closet. So it's always, music and drumming is always occupied with a massive part of my life. But other things that I'm super, super interested in is like I'm really interested in science, and I love photography, and just kind of like hobby things that I'll go on YouTube and learn about some shit, or I'll go out and take the pictures, or that's generally other hobby stuff. Hang out with my girlfriend, stay mellow, go to the beach. Just home is just massive, like decompression mode, pretty much for me. I try not to, overextend myself in any direction, and just hang out at home and keep mellow, but also keep busy because I'm kind of a busybody.
Yeah. Now, some of your background, were you like a drum corps guy, or did you play in high school band, or how did you get started, playing drums?
My dad was a bass player, so we always had some sort of musical something or other going on in our house. When I was younger, I fiddled with his basses, and then when I was 7, they gave me, took guitar lessons, and didn't really stick. And then I tried playing saxophone, and that didn't stick. And then around 12, I just kind of wanted to play drums. I don't know really what sort of spawned it, but
yeah.
And they actually agreed to it and bought me like a $200 like little shitter drum set, and that was kind of it. And then so I fell in love with drumming, and yeah.
Did you take lessons, or were you self-taught?
Oh yeah, I started being sort of self-taught, just listening to records and stuff like that, and then I took lessons for about 2 years through a private place that my mom took me to, and I don't really remember much of it. I remember like 1 or 2 groups. That's about it. And
yeah.
Then from there, like I took high school band, but the way it worked where I was at was if I wanted to do marching band, I'd have to do jazz band. And at the time, I wasn't very interested in jazz.
Yeah.
And I was kind of interested in marching just because I wanted to improve upon my chops and my technique and all that stuff. So it kind of screwed me a little bit. But at the same time, I was also playing shows on the weekend with like the bands that I was in at the time. So it kind of didn't work out because eventually, I did learn,
yeah.
I did improve upon my chops and get into books and, get better technique and, dabble a little bit in jazz, but predominantly self-taught, just listening to records and trying to use my imagination and figuring out how do you do that.
Yeah.
Now at the age of like YouTube clips and shit like that, it becomes so much easier. Like, oh, that's interesting. And you can go on YouTube and find 5 different people explaining that lick or that chop or that fill or that groove or whatever. And it just makes it exponentially easier.
Yeah. That was going to be one of the other questions I was going to ask is how do you think, the internet has impacted a lot of the younger guys now that I see playing, because I'm 36 and I'm pretty much the same story as you. Started in 6th grade, kind of, concert band, and then played in a bunch of bands. I never had like formal lessons really. And if I would have had YouTube, I think it would have been pretty awesome. And how do you think like the internet has changed, the way these guys are playing?
I mean, it's awesome. I mean, obviously there's pros and cons. I think it's awesome that information is so easily accessible. You hear something or somebody explains something to you You know, you just pop a few keywords in and look around and probably find some sort of explanation of it, or some isolated audio of just the drums, or the guy that wrote the groove or the fill talking about it. I mean, it's really quite remarkable. You know, it's really, really, really remarkable that, like, this is the information age that we live in. And, I mean, I try to use it. I mean, I'm 34, and you know, I don't think I'm like, you know, some virtuoso drummer or anything like that. So I'm always trying to learn and always trying to push myself better and, you know, learn this and that. So those days where I'm like, I want to learn something, and I go on YouTube. I want to learn, you know, some Afro-Cuban, or I want to learn some Brazilian Latin, or I want to learn like a hip hop group, or like how, you know, how do they approach it? You know, like, you just go on, you start looking through links, and I mean, it's amazing. I don't really necessarily think it takes away from having to get lessons, because I have taken lessons in my later years to improve upon my hand technique.
Yeah.
But just in terms of like just information, and if you have an idea, then you can kind of go and, you know, look it up, and then learn whatever it is, and then spin it in your own direction, and, you know, add your own self to it, so it becomes something completely different, which is amazing. And to me, is the whole point of things, you know.
Yeah. Now, how do you think, like, in the same, like you say, there's pros and cons, and I agree with you that it's kind of instant access to anything you're trying to learn or you want to learn. There's no reason not to, because there's so many avenues with, you know, technology. But how do you think it's affected some of these guys? On our page, we see a lot of cats that are doing, you know, the drum cover videos, and they're not really playing with bands anymore. They think they're gonna, and some of them do, you know, get famous from a YouTube video. But how do you think that, you know, has kind of affected people's playing as far as like being able to play with a band?
I mean, the whole like drum cover thing. You know, I don't want to sound like an old dude, but I kind of don't get it. Like, I get it in the sense that, like, hey, I played along with an Ariana Grande track. A bunch of people are going to YouTube that, and then I'm going to come up and they're going to watch me, and they're going to watch me playing this, and they're going to like me. And I understand that whole process of, like, sort of getting your name out there as a drummer, especially if you're an unknown living in, you know, fuck Montana.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, and I totally understand that you know, different people are using that avenue to sort of get themselves out there. Flip side, though, is that you're using someone else's song, and you're using somebody else's thing to attract attention your way.
Yeah.
And, like, it seems a little weird and cheap. I could see that as being like what kind of catapults you. You know, you can get a bunch of people subscribing to your YouTube channel, and eventually you transition from doing the drum cover thing to talking about your own concepts, your own content, your own ideas, your own band, or whatever you're doing, and you sort of transition that. That to me is cool, and that to me is accessible, and that's using technology and using that medium to sort of benefit yourself. Like, I don't see there's anything wrong with that, but the people that sort of build themselves off of doing drum covers and stuff like that, I mean, it's cool, but where's it going to go? And where's your voice?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
What are you doing? You know, like, what are you doing to sort of create your own style and create your own voice, and you know, you're just piggybacking off somebody else.
It's a good thing to self-promote yourself, but you got to do just that, self-promote yourself and not someone else's thing.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like I said, I don't really see anything wrong with getting the ball rolling, doing that, because who knows, maybe if I was a 15-year-old kid and, you know, could play, you know, along with some of these songs and have something to offer.
Yeah.
He says that I wouldn't get, you know, GoPro camera and set it up, record the audio and record the video and do it, but I wouldn't want to just kind of leave it off there. But then again, it's also a different time, because when I was growing up, you know, and it's the same thing with you, because we're both in the same age bracket.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was cool to play in bands, but to me it was, I grew up with, like, you know, classic rock, and I grew up with the whole early 90s thing. I took all the early 90s bands. They were all very specific and individual.
Yeah.
Nirvana was Nirvana, Pearl Jam was Pearl Jam. Like, they all had their sound, and they were very unique. You know, and I think that's really, really important, and I think that's something that's, like, lacking a little bit these days, you know?
Yeah. It lacks the interaction with other musicians.
Yeah, you know, like,
It doesn't
That
give
was
you
a bass player.
your chance to find your voice, like you're saying, as if you're just playing along with the track versus playing along with people and growing and finding your voice and your style.
Yeah, you know what I noticed? A lot of these virtuosos, and I'm not trying to make a blanket statement that every virtuoso prodigy
Yeah.
is this, but I've noticed that they're really good at replicating what they hear, but then when it comes to, like, that unique quality, that thing that really, like, innovates and really sets them apart, it's like they can't connect that.
Yeah.
You kind of know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, it's kind of lost in translation. It's like you say, they can replicate everything, but their own voice is just kind of not there.
Yeah, and obviously I'm not saying this is across the board by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
There are really, really phenomenal dudes out there that get it and they realize they have to create their own voice, you know. But I've noticed there's a few of them that they're just like machines, not really, like, yeah, maybe their technical prowess is really impressive, but I mean, I don't, I want to hear some groove. I want to hear, like, what is their voice?
Yeah.
What do they sound like? What do they write? You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. I know exactly where you're coming from. Now, how do you think? Because you've played with a lot of different bands, and it's all been somewhat the same genre of music, kind of, sort of. But how do you think it? Growing up, like you say, in a time when playing in bands was something that every musician wanted to do. Everyone wanted to have a garage band when you're, in your teen years and early 20s, and then start going out and playing shows and touring and whatnot. How do you think that has helped you to transition to the professional part, to be able to get gigs with other bands and different, being able to interact with other musicians?
I mean, I think that's a good question. And I think it's just, and I don't know if I'm going to answer your question properly, but I'm just kind of, what I'm thinking is just, you go out there, you play with people, you try to sort of work your way into the professional realm, you get in a van, you go on tour, you tour for a bit, hopefully you can meet other people, and you learn to be social, and you learn to be just a cool person.
Yeah.
I think ultimately that's what I've learned supersedes talent. You just don't want to go on tour with a drummer or a bass player or a guitar player. That's not cool to be around, because you got to be around that person for weeks and months on end.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they're considered one of the best drummers or best bass players in the world. If they're fucking annoying, you don't care. You want to be around the guy that's cool, that gets the job done, that's a cool head. And I think that is a big, that's not, I don't want to say it supersedes talent at all, because obviously talent is important, but that's a big thing. Like, that's one of the big things that I noticed.
Yeah.
That was kind of needed,
You could be the best, most technical guy out there, but if you're an asshole, they're going to hire the guy that can get the job done, who's cool.
Exactly. That's exactly. The guy that's weird about money.
Yeah.
The drummer that's like, I'm so good, I deserve this amount of money per week, or like negotiates a rate or whatever in terms of just being the hired guy. Negotiates a rate, and then suddenly he wants more money. Like, people don't want to deal with that. Like, you commit to something, you commit to it. Like, it doesn't matter if you realize you kind of fucked up a few days later and you could have asked for more.
Yeah.
You go with it because, that's your travels. And when people kind of know that you're an asshole or you're weird with money, you stop getting calls.
Okay, gotcha. Now, how like I said, you've played with multiple bands and you've done multiple things.
Yeah.
And I kind of ask everyone this that we've interviewed. How do you go about? How have you gotten these gigs? How important is, like, the networking and branding side? If you truly want to be a working musician, it's a lot tougher these days. All the guys I've talked to, different, they all say the money isn't there like it was, and that's why you see so many people that are willing to work any type of gig. That if they're going to get out there and make some money and do their thing. Of course, they love playing. It's not just the money, but how do you think? What advice would you give to help these guys who want to truly be a professional working drummer, and what are some of the sacrifices you have to make? Because it's a lot of work.
It's a ton of work. I mean, starting with the advice part, play with whomever you can play, whenever you can play, because you don't know when the next opportunity, it might lead to something else.
Yeah.
And feel like you're above doing something. I mean, I feel like that's the problem with the current generation is that, you know, a lot of entitlement, I don't want to do that, and it's like, you kind of got to suck it up and do it. You know, I've done things that I didn't want to do. I've worked for people that I haven't want to work for, and I've played with bands I haven't want to play for, but I knew that I had to do it because it was ultimately, at the end of the day, it was going to be beneficial for me.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing, is just set your goal, set what you want, and just pursue it endlessly. And if you do that, and that's what you want to do, at least for me, there hasn't been much sacrifice because I knew from an early age that I wanted to be a drummer in a band. Obviously, I've had to rethink the approach because when I was young, you know, like when Poison the Wall started, and you know, I'm actually a member of that band. I'm a shareholder in the company, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, when I was in that band, it was like being in a band and being successful then, and then when that kind of plateaued and then kind of, you know, fell like below an area in which we could sustain ourselves, I had to reevaluate. Well, okay, I want to be a drummer. Well, what do I want to do? Do I want to join another band? Do I want to be a hired dude? How do I want to approach it? Ultimately, the conclusion I came to is be a hired guy.
Yeah.
You know, it's way more easy, but it's also way more difficult at the same time because you're constantly having, like you said, you have to cut there, you have to network, you have to talk to people, but you have to be genuine in doing that. Like, people can detect the schmoozer, the cheap guy, the dude that's just like hanging out because he's looking for an easy come up. You know, just be a cool dude, go out there, meet rad people, be genuine, be very specific about what you want and set that goal and go for it. And, you know, on the flip side, also improve upon what you do and learn more, learn different styles, and, you know, that whole thing. Be cool dude. That's ultimately what it is. Be a cool guy and be hungry and pursue.
Awesome. Now let's talk a little bit about your gear setup. I've only heard about, you know, Q Drums in the last maybe year and a half through Instagram, and I was following some of their stuff, and their metalwork, their woodwork, like everything they're doing is they're putting out some beautiful looking drums. And I know you were playing one of their wood kits, and then on this tour you were playing a galvanized still, was it not?
Yeah, the galvanized kit I've had for quite a while now. It's kind of like my live workhorse because it sounds really great, it's very durable, and then the finish, you know, you can bring it in certain environments, and its intention is to get shitty looking, but in a cool way.
Yeah.
You know, that industrial sort of, you know, get kind of cloudy, you could get scraped up. I mean, getting the galvanized kit right off the bat, I mean, there's a ton of scratches on the galvanized material. That's just the way it comes. And that's what kind of Jeremy, the owner, and one of the master builders there, that's kind of what he says, is it's meant to be industrial, it's meant to get fucked up, but it also, too, at the same time, it's meant to sound amazing. Yeah, I have a mahogany kit, and then I have a galvanized steel kit. And,
they're located out of California as well, are they not?
Yeah, they're out of San Pedro, which is it's really close to the Long Beach area.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, I love it. Really cool stuff. The owner Jeremy had a lot of great ideas in which he wants to take the company, and sort of things that he's expressed to me that I'm into, and it's being like one of his dudes, because he's, you know, a lot of guys, a lot of great players, a lot of successful players playing his stuff now.
Yeah.
And just see eye to eye in his goal for the company, and he just maintains this sort of overall attitude that, you know, the company is meant to be like a family. It's a family vibe. It's not, you know, really corporate vibe. It's like you go to the shop, you hang out, you know, talk with them, stuff about drums, stuff about coffee, you know, talk shit, whatever, you know, and that's his vibe. And just like I said, his overall perspective, it's like he wants to get to the point where he's doing everything in-house.
Gotcha.
You know, he's not ordering stuff from, you know, this supplier, that supplier. He wants to do everything in-house. And to me, that's awesome. That's something that's lacking in the custom drum world.
Absolutely. I agree with you. There's so many custom drum companies that ain't really custom.
Exactly.
They're kind of put together drums, I guess, you know, but That's one thing that I really love about their stuff is the finishes, the metalwork, like everything is so unique and it's different than everything that's out there right now. They're kind of in their own spot, and there's a ton of custom builders out there now, and new companies coming up all the time. I'm finding new stuff, but their stuff is it's great. I love their copper stuff, the way they do the patina and the different designs, and I love the ribbon mahogany stuff that they do with the maple, e-rings, and it's great looking stuff. And I wanted to know what setup do you usually use as far as sizes, and you usually do like 1 up, 2 down, ain't it?
I'm on a 1 up, 2 down type of guy, or 1 up, 1 down. Just kind of depends on the band. But yeah, I like the single rack generally, and the ride somewhere close to that, just because of just the way
Yeah.
It's a pretty ubiquitous setup within all different types of music, just because it makes sense the way being bipedal creatures. I mean, it's just the way it works. At least for me, I know dudes that do 2 up the ride over the rack, and it's just for me. It just doesn't work. I don't know why, but it just doesn't.
Yeah.
The normal setup is a 24 by 14 kick drum, 13 by 9 rack, usually seated in a snare stand, 16 by 16 floor with legs, and then an 18 by 16 floor. And then snare drums, usually I will alternate either a 14 by 7 aluminum drum, one of Jeremy's plate snares, or a 14 by 7 brass plate. Usually alternate between those two, but that's my normal setup drum-wise. Or sometimes if I'm playing with a certain band, I'll do like a 13 and 18, the 13 rack and then the 18 floor, or sometimes a 13 rack and the 16 floor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just kind of depends on, do we need that extra low end from the floor? Would a 16 be more appropriate?
Yeah.
And so on and so forth.
Now, what's your cymbal setup? You usually keep a very clean kit, like you say. It's very set up, kind of ergonomical, like you say. I like my ride right over the bass drum, but like you keep a very simple, very clean setup. What's your cymbal setup most of the time?
I alternate a lot because I have to deal with Zildjian, and I acquire quite a few different types of cymbals. But across the board, I would have to pick one to work with, different types of music, or if I had to be like for 1 year use one setup, I'd probably use a similar setup to what I just used on Warped, only because for Warped I was using 2 crashes paired as hi-hats.
Okay.
Doing that, they're 17 inches. They're quite big and quite washy. I would just do like the 16-inch Zildjian K light hat, 19-inch K dark thin crash up right above my rack. For the ride, I would do 24-inch light ride K, fantastic cymbal, and then a 20-inch K crash ride. And then sometimes, more so recently, I've had trash stacks.
Yeah.
Like a broken cymbal or like an effect cymbal on the bottom, and an oriental on the top. For a while, I was doing 16 bottom, 15 top, but for this past tour, I moved to like 19 bottom, 18 top, so it was a pretty big monster.
Yeah.
Super cool though, super fun. You could adjust the felt on the top, whether you want more or less decay, if you want it to be more just kind of like a quick effect. If you do like linear grooves, or just really tight grooves, if it's the top is screwed on pretty tight.
Yeah. Now, what you do? You use all DW hardware? What's your pedal setup? Do you usually use?
9,000 stuff. Recently, though, I've moved to the 5,000 hi-hat, but I keep a 9,000 board on top because I put grip tape down.
Yeah.
And the way the 5,000 board is, and I'm sure you've seen this, it's reversed in terms of like the 9,000. It's it's engraved, or it's it's
the logo's counter sunk in versus protruding out.
Yeah, it's sunk in, and then the 5,000 it's like sunk out.
Yeah.
Or whatever, however you would describe it. And that drive, like when I'm keeping time with my left foot, it just sucks.
Yeah.
So I got like an extra board, like a 9,000 board BW, and just threw on the 5,000 hi-hat, which is awesome because like just a 3-legged 5,000 hi-hat, it's perfect. But generally, it's 9,000. Like we're about to go to Europe and get some rental gear, all 9,000
What heads and sticks do you use?
On Evans for heads, normally I just do like G1 on the bottom for the resonance, sometimes coated, sometimes clear, and then tops, usually clear or coated G2s, just depending upon the situation. Snares, coated G2, or sometimes the power center, and then kick drum, the past tour I used the G2-4, which sounded pretty good, and then front head is just like just a black or white, resonant head.
Yeah.
I usually have a Jeremy Q cut like a big hole in the center, and then sticks is ProMark. I'm using the 4 Balance 595 5B with the wood tip. It's absolutely incredible stick. I can't say enough good things about it.
Awesome. Now, are you generally a gear type of guy? Are you one of these guys that has, tons of different stuff, or you just keep it pretty simple? And
I like to acquire a lot of stuff. I think right now I have like 22 to 24 snare drums at my studio. All different types. Got some Ludwig, some Net, some Q, some Brady, some Yamaha stuff. Just try to pick up different variations and different sizes of certain things. Same thing, I like a plethora of cymbals, different types of hardware.
yeah,
Generally the same heads, just high quantities, or high quantities just in case I have to go on tour. I don't have to order anything.
gotcha.
Same thing with sticks, got a bunch of stuff, so it's like if this thing kind of pops up, I just grab it and go pretty much.
Awesome.
Few kits too, I got the galvanized, got the mahogany, and then I have like an acrylic kit, like an old Orange County kit. The acrylic drums sound fantastic.
Cool. Now, what do you have coming up? I know, like you said, in the fall time and stuff, you guys are working out a tour with Census Fell. You got anything else going on with any of the other bands you've been playing with, or are you doing any lessons right now, or are you kind of just taking a break and, like you said, recharging your batteries to get ready for the next push?
Doing a little recharging, but I might be having a show with Big Buck Delta in November. That's not for sure yet. It's just sort of being talked about. And then lessons, I wanted to come home and just kind of put a blast out and just kind of, see if there's any interest. But
Yeah.
I've just been so busy just kind of taking care of my own stuff that I haven't even had a chance to really do that yet. So I might kind of do that maybe within the next few weeks and see, I can pick up, a few students that want to learn some stuff. Just keep it simple and, have fun with it.
Awesome. Now, for any future projects, any things like that, everyone can go to your website, chrishornbrook.com, and then
Yes.
you have links to all of your social media and everything on there.
Yeah, all my social media stuff, my Instagram, my Twitter, my Facebook page. On my YouTube channel, all the stuff's up there, and it opens instantly to a blog that usually has kind of what's currently going on. So, that's pretty much it. I'm sure there's going to be things popping up, like Poison the Wells kind of talked about doing some stuff, but I don't know if that's going to happen. And like I said, a few other things that I've been sort of corresponding with friends doing, but nothing that's actually fully formed yet. Whether I'm talking about doing a project with this friend, but he's off doing a record, and another two friends of mine have kind of a thing going on that they might tour next year with. So it's kind of stuff like that I can't really take too much on. It's not really anything yet,
Yeah. Well, awesome. I'd like to thank you for taking the time out today. And it's a bummer we couldn't get together, but, these things happen, fully understand. So I'd like to thank you again for, taking the time out and talking with us.
It's my absolute pleasure, man. Anytime I'm in Denver and I'm playing with whoever, just hit me up.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely hook you up and come out and hang out and check out the show. And anytime you want me on the podcast, I would absolutely love to be on it. I love talking drum, all that sort of stuff. So, yeah,
Awesome.
I'd much appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you, like I said, again, taking the time out and doing this. And again, thanks. Everyone out there, if you want to learn more or find out anything coming in the future, you can go to chrishornbrook.com. All the links, like you said, is social media, YouTube, everything's there. So check that out. Till next time, guys, keep drumming.